Imagine for a second that you've been contracted to build this, like, the tallest, most magnificent skyscraper in the entire world.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Right. You have access to the absolute best materials,
Hmm.
the greatest architectural minds, this huge, sprawling blueprint. But there is a massive catch.
There's always a catch, right?
Always.
Hmm.
The foundation of this monumental structure isn't made of solid bedrock. And it's not reinforced steel either.
Oh, okay. What is it?
It's made of millions of tiny, fragile, intensely emotional, volatile pieces.
Wow. That's not up to code.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And if just a small cluster of those foundational pieces starts to vibrate with anxiety or anger or some deep unresolved trauma, the entire tower, like all the way up past the clouds, it doesn't just sway.
Right.
It threatens to completely collapse.
I mean, that is an incredibly stressful architectural concept. You would spend every waking moment worrying about the mood of your basement rather than, enjoying the view from the penthouse.
Exactly. And welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Because today, that terrifying skyscraper is literally our universe.
Yeah, it's a huge topic today.
It really is. We are unpacking a truly mind-bending cosmic origin story today. It's based on a highly detailed transcript of a theological lecture.
Right, and this lecture breaks down what's called the Yoram.
Yes, the Yoram,
Oh, okay.
which essentially serves as the foundational handbook or kind of a comprehensive overview for a religious movement called Daesun Jinrikyo.
Right.
Our mission in this deep dive is to explore this vast, incredibly layered map of reality. Like, we are looking at a cosmology where the gods themselves are currently in a state of absolute existential crisis.
Yeah, they're panicking.
Totally panicking.
Yeah.
And humans, like you, me, all of us, we bear the literal structural weight of reality.
And this text, it completely upends our standard, comfortable assumptions about cosmology.
Well, for sure.
Because in a lot of traditional religious frameworks, humans are just passengers. Or maybe we're subjects being judged by this perfect, untouchable divine realm up in the sky.
Right. The gods are perfect, we're the mess.
Exactly. But this text argues something radically different. It proposes this complex, deeply interdependent system of cosmic engineering.
Yeah.
The divine realm is actually highly vulnerable to systemic collapse. So we aren't just looking at moral guidelines here.
Wow.
We are analyzing a structural blueprint of a failing universe.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the inciting incident described in the source material, it plays out like, I don't know, like the opening sequence of a massive sci-fi epic.
It really does.
The universe is in total chaos, and the text describes this huge, desperate gathering of divine beings. You've got Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and these entities known as Sinsong.
Right, the divine sages.
Yeah. And they're all petitioning the highest possible heaven, basically begging for an intervention, because the machinery of the cosmos has broken down so badly that they literally cannot fix it themselves.
They're totally stuck.
Right. But before we get to the rescue mission, I have to ask you about these Sinsong, the divine sages, because the source makes a really sharp distinction here. It says, Buddhas and bodhisattvas only possess the sacred side, the Seong, which means their primary function is to teach.
Right, they have the seal.
But the Sinsong possess both the sacred side and the heroic side, the Yung.
Yeah, the Yung is crucial.
So my immediate thought when reading this is, how does someone manage to be an enlightened spiritual guru and, like, a ruthless, effective prime minister at the same time? How does that even work?
Well, the text actually argues that separating those two roles is the very root of the problem.
Really?
Yeah. Think about how this theology views power. Pure religion,
Sure.
that sacred teaching aspect, without any physical, political, or economic leverage. It's ultimately helpless when confronted with massive systemic human suffering.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The lecturer uses a very stark image to make this point. They reference a sacred figure hanging completely powerless on a cross.
I see.
Right? All the compassion in the world doesn't stop the executioner's nail.
So the pure teacher is incredibly well-meaning, but just lacks the teeth to actually change the system.
Precisely. They can teach you how to endure the suffering, but they can't stop the structure causing it.
Right.
On the reverse side, if you take political heroic power and strip away the sacredness, the empathy, the cosmic understanding, it degrades very quickly into tyranny.
You just get a dictator enforcing order through violence.
Exactly. The Sinsong, on the other hand, were these ancient figures who successfully synthesized the two.
Who were they? Like, historically?
Well, the text points to historical and mythological titans like King Wen of Zhou.
Okay, the guy who wrote the I Ching. Right.
Yes. He didn't just rule a kingdom, he wrote the I Ching attempting to align human governance with fundamental cosmic laws.
So he was a king and a philosopher.
Right. Or Dangun, the legendary founder of Korea. He functioned as both a king and a high priest. They possessed the spiritual depth to read the cosmos and the practical authority to enforce that harmony on Earth.
That is wild. I'm trying to picture that in a modern context. It would be like I don't know, a meditation master who also knows exactly how to pass a complex infrastructure bill to ensure everyone has clean water.
That's a great way to put it.
It's the ultimate marriage of theory and practice. So why did we lose that? What happened?
Well, as human societies grew more complex and more populated, and frankly more driven by material greed, a tragic split occurred.
A split between the sacred and the heroic.
Yeah. The cognitive load just became too heavy. The sacred and the heroic were ripped apart into completely separate domains.
So the monks go to the mountains and the politicians go to the capital.
Exactly. You had the religious leaders retreating to the temples to pray, and the political leaders taking over the palaces to tax and wage war.
Wow.
And the text posits that this divorce between spiritual wisdom and earthly power is the original structural fracture that slowly poisoned the universe.
Which brings up a really crucial question about the mechanics of this crisis. If the ancient kings and spiritual leaders dropped the ball, why are the heavens in such a state of emergency?
Right. It's a good question.
Because usually, in these ancient narratives, humans act terribly, and the gods just sit up in the clouds throwing lightning bolts in judgment.
Shaking their heads at us.
Right. But this text suggests the universe is broken due to this tangled, suffocating web of grievances, which they call one in calamities called Geobak.
Yes, one and Geobek.
And critically, these belong to both humans and gods.
Yeah, the divine realm is completely implicated in this failure. It's a shared systemic collapse.
It makes me think of, okay, imagine a highly dysfunctional, toxic workplace.
Oh, I've been there.
Right. It's not just the entry-level employees on the factory floor making mistakes. The upper management, which would be the gods, in this analogy, they're carrying all this historical baggage.
Yeah, interpersonal feuds.
Unresolved issues, and the miscommunication from the top down and the bottom up has just completely paralyzed the entire company.
That analogy holds up incredibly well because it touches on the interdependent nature of this specific cosmology.
How so?
Well, we have to remember that in many Eastern traditions, deities aren't just abstract concepts floating in a void.
Right.
They are often deeply tied to human affairs or natural elements or ancestral lineages.
So they have skin in the game.
Exactly. If a local deity is responsible for a river and humans dam that river out of greed, creating famine and sorrow, that sorrow literally infects the deity.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, the gods are absorbing the psychic and spiritual fallout of human failure.
So this builds up over time?
Over millennia. That accumulation of this deep, unresolved resentment and sorrow, it basically clogged the spiritual arteries of the universe.
And the gods couldn't fix it because they were part of the sickness.
Exactly. They're part of the system.
Okay, so the whole system is sick.
Yeah.
How does the text say a universe goes about curing a disease that has infected everything from the dirt to the highest heaven?
It's not easy.
Because obviously there isn't some cosmic magic wand that just resets everything to a state of peace.
No, definitely not. In fact, the cure is arguably as traumatic as the disease.
Wait, really?
Yeah. The universe has to undergo this massive, grueling process of resolving all these accumulated grievances. It's a mechanism called Heiwan.
Heiwan.
And what's fascinating here is how the lecture introduces a medical concept to explain how this feels. It's called the Mayanyalan phenomenon.
Mayanyan phenomenon. What does that mean?
It roughly translates to a healing crisis.
Oh, like when you undergo a massive detox. Or maybe start a really aggressive physical therapy routine after a severe injury.
The physical therapy comparison is perfect.
Right, because it hurts.
It hurts a lot. When you first start breaking down scar tissue to regain mobility, the pain is often much sharper than the dull ache of the old injury.
Yeah, you have to break it to fix it.
The muscles have to be torn to be rebuilt properly. The text argues that the cosmic resolution of these grievances, this cosmic physical therapy, initially causes massive spikes in conflict, chaos, and upheaval on Earth.
It's like a cosmic fever break.
Exactly.
The body raises its internal temperature to a terrifying degree to burn out the infection. So all the intense suffering, the wars, the societal friction we observe,
Yeah.
this text completely reframes that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a sign that the world is ending. It could be the painful, necessary detox.
Perspective from despair to purpose. The pain has a mechanical function.
Wow.
But to manage a fever of that scale, you need a master physician. And this is where the supreme deity, Guxian Sangje, steps in.
Right, the big boss.
Yeah. He initiates an unprecedented intervention called the Samgai Desun Gebiok Gongsa.
Okay, I want to break down that term because there is a lot packed in there.
There really is.
So, Samgai refers to the three realms. Gebiok is the opening or creation of a new world. And Gongsa implies a public work or a massive restructuring project.
Spot on.
And this is actually where the name Desun comes from, right? The great opening work of the three realms.
Yes, it's fundamentally a cosmic engineering project.
Okay.
And this engineering requires Sangje to navigate the universe in a very specific way. The text states that he descends to the Western Great Dharma realm.
Now wait. A surface-level reading might lead a modern audience to assume this refers to the Western Hemisphere, like Europe or the Americas.
Yeah, that's a common mistake.
Because I instantly pictured the supreme deity taking a transatlantic flight to set up headquarters in London or something.
Right, setting up a corporate office. But the lecturer is extremely careful to correct that misconception.
Okay.
We're dealing with cosmic geography here, not a terrestrial globe.
Got it.
In this specific symbolic map, the East, referred to as Dongtu, the Eastern land represents the physical human realm.
Okay. East is physical.
And the West represents the invisible divine realm, the realm of the spirits and fundamental laws.
Oh, I see. So when Sanjay goes to the West, he isn't traveling horizontally across a map. He is descending vertically into the unseen spiritual scaffolding of reality.
That's a great way to put it.
He's like going into the basement to fix the pipes before he repaints the walls.
That's exactly it. He is restructuring the invisible code that dictates how the physical world operates.
But if all this heavy lifting is happening in the invisible realm, how are humans supposed to understand it? Like, how do we even know the scaffolding is being repaired?
That's the million-dollar question.
The text provides an answer that I found absolutely fascinating involving this tale of two pagodas.
Yes, the pagodas.
It gives us a physical anchor for all this abstract theology. First, you have the Qianzhai Pagoda, and that's spelled with just a Y-E at the end,
Right, Xiangye.
which exists strictly in the heavenly realm. It serves as a spiritual conduit for the gods themselves to open up, release their grievances, and petition upwards.
Because even they need help.
Because, yeah, as we established, upper management has its own baggage and needs a way to vent it.
It acts as an energetic pressure valve for the divine realm.
Right. But then, mirrored against that, you have the Qianzhai Pagoda, spelled with a G-Y-E. And they sound almost identical.
Yeah, they do, but completely different functions.
Exactly. Because this one is not an abstract concept. It is a literal, physical stone structure built on Earth, specifically at the Yoji Dojang headquarters in South Korea.
And the earthly pagoda is critical because it's not just, a decorative monument or a pretty piece of architecture.
What is it then?
The lecturer explicitly describes it as a three-dimensional physical map.
A map of the universe.
Yeah, humans are sensory creatures, right? We struggle to comprehend a multidimensional spiritual restructuring project.
Absolutely.
So the Qianzhai Pagoda is essentially a textbook carved in stone. It's a scale model of the cosmos designed to help humans visualize the invisible work that Sangji is performing.
Which perfectly transitions us into looking at exactly what that map depicts. Because if we study this cosmic model, the text describes reality as being structured in 9 layers of clouds, known as the 9 heavens.
Right. 9 layers.
And those 9 layers are further divided into a staggering 36 heavens.
It's massive.
Now, I have to play the skeptic here for a moment. This seems incredibly intricate and highly specific.
It is.
We have thousands of years of established Eastern philosophy. Why do older, massive traditions like Buddhism describe the structure of the heavens so differently? Why introduce a completely new 36-tier map?
Well, the text actually anticipates that exact friction. And the lecturer's critique of the older cosmological models is honestly fascinating.
Okay, what do they say?
They note that Buddhism traditionally relies on a system of 28 heavens, or frequently focuses on the 33 heavens, which is known as Dorichian.
Doriching, wait, that explains the tradition of ringing the Bozingak bell in Seoul 33 times on New Year's Eve, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's a symbolic clearing of those 33 realms.
Exactly. The cultural footprint of the 33 heavens is massive. And the text acknowledges this. It notes that Sakyamuni Buddha himself is said to have originated from the Tushita heaven known as Dosulchen.
Dosulchen.
Right. In the traditional Buddhist framework, Dosulchen is regarded as an incredibly exalted, pristine destination. It's the pinnacle of spiritual achievement for many practitioners.
So if you make it to Dosulchen, you've essentially won the cosmic lottery.
According to the old map, yes, you're at the top.
Okay.
But the Dasun cosmology doesn't just add a few more heavens on top. It completely rescales our understanding of ultimate reality.
How much bigger is it?
Well, in this new 36-tier map, that highly revered Tushita heaven, Dosulchen,
Yeah,
it's relegated to being just the very first tier of the fourth heaven.
the fourth. Out of 9.
Yep. The lecturer actually uses a somewhat humorous analogy comparing this ultimate Buddhist destination to a country village when scaled against the staggering, incomprehensible heights of the ninth heaven.
Wow. That is a massive theological flex.
It really is.
They are essentially saying to older traditions, look, your map isn't fake, but you only charted a single continent, and you mistook it for the entire globe. We are showing you the rest of the planet.
That's a perfect analogy.
But why was this remapping necessary? Did they just want a bigger universe for the sake of it?
No, it wasn't about ego. It was about the scale of the crisis.
Oh, right, the cosmic disease.
Remember the toxic workplace and the clogged spiritual arteries? The older religions were dealing with localized spiritual issues, but Sengye is addressing a systemic failure of the entire cosmic anatomy.
So he needs the whole blueprint.
To perform surgery on that scale, you need a complete anatomical chart, not just an X-ray of the arm. And the scale matters profoundly when you look at how they redefine the mechanics of reincarnation.
Right, because usually we think of reincarnation as something that happens to humans on Earth, right? Like until we get enlightened and then we escape to the heavens and we're done.
Yeah, that's the standard view, but the text completely shatters that assumption.
Really? What happens instead?
In this 36-tier system, the grinding, endless cycle of reincarnation, being born, suffering, dying, and returning it doesn't stop when you hit the heavens.
Wait, gods reincarnate.
It continues all the way up through the seventh heaven.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. The divine beings residing in those first 7 layers are still trapped in cosmic cycles. They are still subject to change, decay, and consequence.
Wow. So when do you actually get off the ride?
You only achieve true, permanent liberation from the wheel when you attain the absolute perfection required to pierce into the 8th or 9th heaven.
Okay, I am trying to hold this entire blueprint in my head right now.
It's a lot.
We have an unimaginably vast structure. 36 heavens, grand divine sages, physical and spiritual pagodas, high-tier gods who are still trapped in reincarnation.
Yep.
And a universe suffering from an agonizing healing crisis. It sounds incredibly top-heavy. All this weight, all this complexity pressing down.
You're pressing down on what, though?
Right. Which brings us right back to the skyscraper analogy we started with. In all of this sprawling cosmic architecture, who is at the absolute foundational bottom holding the entire 36-tier structure up?
It's humanity. Human beings are the bedrock.
Here's where it gets really interesting. I read that part of the transcript 3 times because it is such a wild inversion of how we normally think about our place in the universe.
Oh, absolutely.
We are so conditioned to view humanity as a tiny, insignificant speck looking up in awe at the grand, terrifying machinery of the cosmos. But the text explicitly states that the grand machinery of the heavens rests entirely on the emotional and spiritual state of humans.
It flips the concept of cosmic hierarchy totally on its head. If the human seed at the bottom is vibrating with unresolved grievance, if we are radiating that toxic want, the structural integrity of reality is compromised.
The entire 36-tier tower sways.
Exactly. It means human beings are not passive observers waiting for divine judgment. We are the load-bearing pillars of the universe.
That's a terrifying amount of pressure.
It is.
To ground this massive, overwhelming philosophical concept into something tangible, the text shares a small, almost bizarre anecdote about Sengye.
The fly story.
Yes, the fly story.
Yeah.
So Sengye, the supreme architect of all this, is trying to get some sleep.
Right.
And before he rests, he declares with absolute authority that he will not allow a single fly to land on his body.
Okay.
Predictably, a fly starts buzzing around his face. And a well-meaning follower tries to do the normal, helpful human thing and shoos the fly away so the deity can finally rest.
Just trying to help out.
Right. But Sengye abruptly scolds the follower. He essentially says, "Do you think I'm just an exhausted man begging for a nap?
Oh,
This
no.
is a gongsa. This is a cosmic work."
Which is such a wild response.
Yeah.
Because on the surface, it sounds like the supreme deity of the universe is just being incredibly petty about an insect.
Like, just let the guy swat the fly.
Right. But it has nothing to do with being annoyed by a bug. It is a profound demonstration of absolute localized cosmic discipline.
Localized discipline. What do you mean by that?
Well, the underlying logic is staggering. Think about it. If a divine being allows a microfracture in their own focus, a lapse of absolute dominion over their own immediate physical space,
Oh, I see.
even something as minuscule as a fly landing where they forbade it, how could they possibly possess the infinite precision required to restructure 36 layers of heaven?
Like a surgeon. A surgeon performing open-heart surgery can't afford to have a hand tremor. The stakes are too high.
Exactly. The macro is entirely dependent on the micro. The anecdote proves that the grandest, most incomprehensible laws of the universe are inextricably bound to the smallest, most disciplined actions of daily life.
Wow.
If you cannot govern the inches in front of your face, you have no business trying to govern the cosmos.
So, synthesizing all of this, we've traversed a truly epic map today.
We really have.
We started in a universe paralyzed by the shared toxic grievances of gods and humans alike. We explored the painful necessity of a cosmic healing crisis, mapped out 36 tiers of reality that dwarf traditional religious concepts, and finally landed on the realization that human emotional integrity holds up the entire structure.
That's profound.
It is. If you are listening to this right now and you're dealing with an intense personal conflict, a sudden upheaval, or a period of severe friction in your life, this text offers a radically empowering lens.
Absolutely.
That friction might not just be bad luck or arbitrary punishment. It could be your own Mayang-Eon phenomenon.
Is your own healing crisis.
That might be the painful, necessary detox of your own personal universe trying to heal itself. Because your actions, your resolutions, and how you handle your own localized space, that is the foundation of your reality.
The text forces a total paradigm shift regarding responsibility.
It really does.
We spend so much time waiting for the universe, or the gods, or fate to swoop down and fix our circumstances. But according to this cosmology, the universe is desperately waiting for us to stabilize so the heavens can finally stop shaking.
We have to fix the basement so the penthouse doesn't collapse.
Precisely. But there is one final, almost hidden detail in this source material that I think beautifully balances this immense pressure.
Oh, what is it?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it has to do with how the highest divine realm actually operates on a practical basis.
Okay.
The lecturer notes that when the gods assign someone a task or trust a human with a responsibility, they do something remarkable. They step back entirely.
Really? They just leave?
They never interfere. They don't micromanage the process. They offer absolute radical trust, and they wait patiently, only stepping in if the person willingly gives up.
So there's no cosmic middle management breathing down your neck, sending you passive-aggressive emails?
None. The universe gives you the weight, but it also gives you the space to carry it.
That's beautiful.
And I think that raises a profound question to chew on as we navigate our daily lives. Imagine applying that divine level of radical trust to our own human experience, to our relationships, to the people we manage at work, or, most importantly, to ourselves. What would change if we stopped desperately micromanaging every tiny detail of our lives out of fear, and instead trusted the process of our own healing crisis?
That is a phenomenal thought to end on, taking a page from the ultimate cosmic playbook and just learning to trust the process. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep asking questions, keep exploring those invisible maps of reality, and we will catch you next time.